Yeah, welcome back. And Yemi, yeah, how they're going to reach us this morning. You can talk to us on Twitter
Yep.
and on Twitter, basically, and also you can send us your email. And today, we know Real Madrid last night won the La Liga title, and that's more like the talking point here. And I remember some time ago when we have a guest in the studio, a reporter with La Liga TV, Bruno, when he says that Real Madrid were going to win the title, and we're like, how is that even possible and everything? Because, of course, Barcelona had the upper hand
At
going
that point.
at that point, going before COVID happened, and then before you know it, Real Madrid just took advantage of it
Yeah.
and they were able to win it. So,
Get
so
across to us. I'm very sure the notification will pop up on screen. Send us a mail or get across to us on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter. Let us know how you feel about all of the issues we've talked about. There you have it. @_sports is how you can reach us this morning. Let us know. Let's talk about La Liga. Let's talk about golf. Let's talk about Formula One. Let's talk about MotoGP. Let's talk about the English Premier League, the FA Cup over the weekend, and a lot of interesting things in your amazing world of sports. And also, you can send us a mail. We'll do our best to read your messages and take some reactions as well to some of those things that you talked about. All right, so that's how you can be a part of this show this morning. All right, so let's move on the show. Cecilia has let the cat out of the bag, so let's just go straight to
Barcelona.
Barcelona in Spain and link up with our friend Bruno Begarache. Of course, he works with La Liga TV. Bruno, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Hi guys, it's a pleasure to see you guys again and speak to you again.
All right. Before we talk about what happened last night, let's just quickly give our viewers the results in case by any chance they missed it. In case, I doubt it though, but in case by any chance they missed it, let's really take a look at the results that confirmed Real Madrid as the champions of La Liga. There you have it. Real Madrid beating Villarreal 2-1. Barcelona, in spite of some good work from Lionel Messi, they lost to Osasuna, a goal to 2. Getafe lost at home to Atletico Madrid. Valencia squeezed past Espanyol 1-0. Those are the results for the matches played in the Spanish La Liga. All right, Bruno, let's come to you. And, you had correctly predicted that Real Madrid was going to win this title, but I still have to ask you, are you surprised?
Obviously, I didn't have any special insight or anything when I said Real Madrid would win the title. Surprised, obviously Barcelona had the lead and it was in their hands and it was they who had to lose it. But, all season long, there have been signs at Football Club Barcelona that they've just been painting over some significant cracks. It's a team it's got serious problems. It's got massive flaws, and they need to address them if they don't want to fall further behind. And you always feel that if Messi's not on his day, the rest of the team just isn't there right now. And there are good players there, but for some reason it's just not clicking. And Real Madrid, well, they've been efficient. I don't think they've been brilliant either. I don't think they're a wonderful team, but they're efficient. They get the job done, and that's the difference between them and Football Club Barcelona. So I am surprised maybe that Barcelona have been a little bit worse than I expected, but I haven't been surprised that Real Madrid have got the job done so efficiently as they have done.
Now, let's talk about the significance of what Zinedine Zidane has done. Now, since the restart, 10 games out of 10, he won all of them. And the fact that they were never behind all through. I mean, this title that he won is in the second coming, his second title, the first one 2017, and the second one this year. How significant is this for Zinedine Zidane? Because some people have actually been questioning his coaching prowess, so to speak, thinking he has a big team. That's why he's winning.
Yeah, they've always questioned him. They've always said he's not really a manager. He's just the person that feels the players, and that's it. But it's a very important part of managing superstars like Real Madrid and Football Club Barcelona is making sure that you've got a dressing room where that there's harmony. Because there's such big egos, such big personalities. You've got to make sure they're on your side and they're playing for you. And that's what we see at Barcelona. You see that Quique Setién doesn't seem to have the dressing room. The players, when there were these cooling breaks, he would go out and talk to them, and they would either not listen or they'd be like a couple of yards away. And you can see there's not that harmony at Barcelona. Real Madrid, what Zinedine has done, what Zidane has done, and maybe that's his biggest asset, is ensuring that all players are on board with him. He's got absolutely everyone. There's a squad there, 16, 17 players who are coming in and out, and they're all giving absolutely 100% for him. There are no long faces when players are left on the bench, perhaps with the exception of Gareth Bale, but that's a whole different topic. But he's done a tremendous job, and you can't question a manager and say he's a bad manager when he's winning Champions League title after Champions League title. He's winning La Liga. He's getting results done. So the results are there for everyone to see.
All right, let me. I still want to talk about Zinedine Zidane. Do you think with this now, people will start mentioning him in the same breath like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp? Because in spite of the fact that he's won, like Cecilia said, in spite of the fact that he's won, people will have their opinions about, he won when Barcelona was weak, or he won against a disjointed, some of those issues. But you think now that he has won again, that people will now begin to mention him, at the same level they mention Pep and Jurgen Klopp?
I don't think they will, to be honest. It is true that Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp have, in their own way, kind of revolutionized football. They've brought something completely different tactics-wise. We saw something completely different when that Football Club Barcelona side under Guardiola, and he's always innovating. He's always looking for new ways of approaching the game, and Jurgen Klopp as well. He's found that perfect blend as well of quick counter-attacking football. I don't think Zidane delves that much into the tactics as those two managers. I don't think that in that sense he puts as much work into the tactical side of things. I think he's more of a man manager, more of a, as I said before, someone that has camaraderie within the dressing room, which, as I say again, that is also almost as an important a factor as the other. Can we talk about them in the same sort of level of management? I think if we're looking at titles, yes, we would have to put Zidane up there with Klopp and Guardiola. But I don't think it's something that people generally are going to talk about. Managers who have marked an era. I'm not too sure whether people will throw Zinedine Zidane in there.
Yeah, what you're saying is it simply means if Zinedine Zidane should leave Real Madrid, for instance, to other clubs, he may not succeed.
I would like to see that. It's a good question. It's Real Madrid is a club he's comfortable at. It's somewhere that he played. It's a city that he knows well. It's a club that he understands. There's a chairman who absolutely adores him, so he knows he's got the backing. It's a comfortable environment for him, and it gives him all the ingredients for things to work out. It would be interesting to see if he does go somewhere else. If he goes to England or if he goes to Italy, whether he can adapt to a new challenge, a whole different challenge. That's what we would have to see. That's why I don't think we can really sort of gauge the quality of Zidane as a manager overall until we see him in a new, fresh challenge. But it would definitely be interesting to see him. What I do think is that he is someone that's always going to have the respect of a dressing room, because he was such a legendary player that everyone's always going to respect him. And I think that's something that really helps him out as well.
All right. Let's talk about the fans a little. Zinedine Zidane told the fans, please celebrate at home. We're already seeing pictures of fans in the streets, beating the drums, loud noises, chants, and all that. Do you think the fans will take it easy because of COVID-19, or you expect them to come all out and celebrate?
Well, that's been an issue all week here in Spain. The club issued a statement asking or urging the fans not to come out and celebrate, asking them to be responsible. The government has also been bringing out these statements. To an extent, yes, that sort of died down the celebrations in the streets, but I don't think it's going to be possible to stop everyone from celebrating. One, because the way we are in Spain, the Latino character is very sort of fiery, bubbly, and we like going out and celebrating and being on the streets, and that's always going to be very difficult to sort of quieten down. But obviously it's not going to be the same as if there wasn't any COVID. As you know, Spain and Madrid particularly has been struck pretty hard by COVID-19. So people have tried to be responsible. We saw images of Cibeles, which is the statue where they always go and celebrate. Normally that's absolutely jam-packed, and yesterday it was quite empty. So the authorities and the club have done everything possible to ensure that everyone's responsible and doesn't come out, in mass to celebrate.
Well, talking about responsibility, we saw pictures of just some few people gathering in groups, and you saw policemen, with them trying to not allow the whole celebrations, go to something else that they really can't control. It seems it was under control. But later in the day, that's what we wouldn't know. Because the fans we're going to listen to says this happened at about 4 a.m., earlier as of this morning and all. But then later in the day, you may not be able to, control what will happen. Let's just listen to these fans and we'll come back to you.
Oh my God, there's a huge difference. I mean, usually you would see like people everywhere with all ages, like young, old, even children, like screaming, and we'll be celebrating here until, I don't know, 4 a.m. in the morning. It's a little bit sad, but it's understandable. And no matter what, I mean, you can still see people here tonight, so it's good eventually. Yeah.
The night is unique to me. It's the first time I celebrate here on the street, and I feel great. It's a magical evening. A la Madrid.
Madrid feeling a magical evening, but later in the day we really can't predict what will happen. We'll wait to see what's going to happen because Liverpool, when they won the title that night, we saw fans actually coming out. Now, Bruno, Real Madrid, they've done a good job. They've won their 34th league title. Now the Champions League is there. We know how good Zinedine Zidane is when it comes to winning the Champions League. It's more like an expert in that field. Do you see them overturning the deficit they have against Manchester City to go ahead and win the title this time around?
Well, they've certainly got a mountain to climb there. They've got a lot of work to do because, of course, they lost at home. They need to go to Manchester, get a result against Manchester City, who seem to have ended the season quite strongly as well in the Premier League. Ever since the title was claimed by Liverpool, instead of just seeing out the season, we're seeing them, smash opponent after opponent. So they've got a tough rival in front of them. They need to turn around the result there. I would say that I think it's perhaps too much to ask of Real Madrid to turn that game around, but it's such a massive risk predicting anything against Real Madrid in the Champions League lately. You're going to be made to look like a fool. So I don't want to go out 100% and say Real Madrid will not turn around that game, but I would say that I'd feel maybe more towards Manchester City being clear favourites to going through to the next round.
All right, Bruno. Let's talk about the other side. The guys that threw away the title because at some point we thought they were going to win. Let's talk about Barcelona a little. And do you think the hangover of everything? We listened to some of the comments from Lionel Messi yesterday. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't good. Criticized the team. Fell short of criticizing the manager as well. But he appears not to be pleased. Do you think the hangover, they'll carry this hangover into the Champions League, or they can be able to just forget about this and concentrate on the Champions League?
I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult for them to leave behind what the end of this season has been. I don't think they can just click their fingers and start playing. Because, as I say, there are real problems in that football, in that Barcelona side. That there are structural problems. It's a team that just isn't working. The energy levels aren't there. There's a lot of veteran players who, again, have won it all and perhaps are lacking the hunger and desire that they had 5 or 10 years ago. And you can see Luis Suarez a couple of games ago after the game also talked out, criticising the manager really for their performances away from home. Messi yesterday didn't mince his words at all. He said that the team is well, his words were it's a weak team and that right now, if they play like that, it's going to be impossible for them to get anything done in the Champions League. It's a difficult question because when you look at the players, you always think a team that's got Messi is always going to have an opportunity, is always going to have a chance to beat anyone in the world because he is the best player in the world. But as I say, there are just problems there. There are so many weaknesses in that team that it just needs such an inspired Messi. You're asking so much of Messi. He just needs to be absolutely on top of his game that it's not always going to happen. I don't feel like they can go deep in the Champions League. I think things need to change so much, and I just don't think they believe in their manager. They don't believe in Quique Setién, and as long as he's there, I can't see this team functioning.
Those are the changes you actually want them to make because Messi alluded to it that if changes are not made, they will not be able to beat Napoli. Should the coach leave? Should the players be changed? Or should Messi even leave Barcelona?
I don't think from now until the start of the Champions League, it's such a small gap. I'm not too sure whether changing a manager would be a wise choice, or who can bring in, or how much work that new manager that comes in can get done before the start of the Champions League. I think it's on the players. It's on the players, to put their differences to one side. Maybe they don't believe in what the manager's doing, but they need to think some of them are towards the end of their career. They're not going to have too many more chances, for silverware or for a Champions League. And, the quality is there. And they need to see that, if they pick themselves up and then they really give it a go. Obviously, when you've got a Messi, a Suarez, Busquets, De Jong, Piqué, Ter Stegen, you've got players there who can win this tournament, who can beat any team in the world. So I think it's the players who really need to turn things around, because they are top quality players, but for some reason, things aren't working.
So the last question I ask is, should Messi leave Barcelona? Because he's been carrying the team for a long time.
Well, I think only Messi can answer that question, but I don't see where he can go. Leaving Barcelona in Europe, I don't see where else he can go. It's a club that's given him so much. It gave him that boost when he was, 13, 14 years old. They've given him everything he has, and he probably feels like he needs to pay them back in some sense. I think he should see out his career, or at least his European career in Barcelona. We all know that he would like to end one day in Argentina with Newell's Old Boys, which is the club that he's always supported. I don't think he'll leave either. I think that's always a game of pressure when the rumors start coming out that Messi might leave the club. That's pressure on the chairman, because the fans are going to say, hey, are you going to give the opportunity of this guy leaving the club? Are you going to leave that door open? Then we're not going to vote for you. We're going to vote for whoever else comes in, to the elections. So Messi's got that power. He's got so much power at the club that he knows that he can play these sort of games of saying, I might leave, because everyone's going to bow down and say, oh, we'll do whatever you want, just stay with us. We're going to make sure you stay at Barcelona. So I think it would be nice to see him, another 2-3 years still at Barca. I think he's still got a lot of football to offer. And, it's nice for us in La Liga to have him close by and witness him play week in, week out.
All right. Thank you so much, Bruno, for talking to us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.